Welcome back and let's get you some news coming in from the state of Karnataka. And the Congress party in the state of Karnataka opposes the anti-conversion bill in the Legislative Council. The debate is underway, but we know that this entire bill has created a huge controversy. This is a ruckus which is happening in the Karnataka Legislative Council after the BJP government tabled an anti-conversion law. Now, this bill was tabled by the State Home Minister. I'll try and connect with my colleague Harish Upadhyay and get more details on this entire story. Harish, on the expected lines, this bill was supposed to create a political controversy. We'll try and connect with Harish and get more details on that entire story. But just to tell you a little bit more about this bill, what does this bill do? We have seen similar laws in various BJP ruled states and in fact some of the Congress ruled states as well. The anti-conversion bill does not bar conversion per se in toto. That's not what it does. But it puts certain riders, checks and balances whenever a conversion from one community to another happens. And marriage is often treated as an inducement. And that's the part where most political parties have had their different lines. Harish is back with us on the broadcast. Harish, what kind of political confrontation are we witnessing right now?
Well, the Congress and the JDS targeting the BJP government, saying that this infringes on certain fundamental rights. It gives sweeping powers to local officials to carry out raids and inspection. It also probably at some stage also infringes on the fundamental right to privacy as well, with the fact that all the details are put out in the local Tehsildar office. And the larger fact that it in a way promotes or enables vigilante groups to go around looking for interfaith couples and objecting to those relationships or marriages is something that's caused a lot of heartburn. This is something that has been raised in the floor of the House as well, in the upper house of the Karnataka legislature. And the BJP defending it, saying that these are essential checks and balances. But the Congress saying that the mere fact that anyone can object to an interfaith marriage, whether it's a friend, a colleague, a neighbor, or forget blood relatives, anyone else around them, means that you're enabling vigilante groups there. And we've already seen several incidents. In fact, the recent one being yesterday from Mangaluru, where an interfaith couple, which had their parents' consent, wanted to get married, but a vigilante group called it love jihad. So this has been a large concern with this bill now.
So anybody can be a complainant. That's the problematic part. And Harish, it's non-bailable, right? Once you're booked under this act, the offence is non-bailable, which means you'll have to take the bail from a court of law.
It's non-bailable, and it's also perhaps putting the burden of giving proof or proving that you're innocent on the accused. And that is more problematic, is what legal experts are saying. They're also pointing out that some of these aspects of this particular bill perhaps goes against the established judicial process or the law, and might not stay in a court of law if indeed someone challenges the Karnataka High Court.
Now, Harish, is there an inkling that this bill will be passed? What is it that you're gathering from your sources?
Well, the numbers are clearly in favor of the BJP. After the recent elections to the upper house here, the BJP has a simple majority here in the Karnataka Council. It will be passed in the Karnataka Council without much of a changes or amendment. The government not in any mood to bring in amendments to the existing bill that has been circulated among members. Perhaps the communities affected by it or legal experts who are opposing this will resort to challenging this in the court, but no hope of any changes to this bill in the upper house.
Harish, stay with us on the broadcast. Mr. S. Prakash of the BJP is with us on the broadcast. Mr. Prakash, as we were talking earlier about an hour ago, the opposition parties are saying that this bill will be a tool for harassing interfaith couples because anybody can be a complainant. The clauses under this bill are very, very excessive. That's the criticism.
This is our commitment to the people of Karnataka in our manifesto in 2018 and during 2018 election. But we are fulfilling that commitment we had made to the people. If there is any excess in the bill, definitely it has been already been debated in the assembly, and the learned members could have pointed out what are the sections which can be misused. But however, every bill can be misused or can be rightly put into use.
No, you're
And it
right,
is
sir. You're right, sir. I agree that there is no law in the statute book that cannot be misused. I agree with that. However, every bill has excessive or proportionate clauses. If under a bill of this nature, anybody can be a complainant, then the vigilante group problem that we were earlier talking about becomes very, very real, sir.
So vigilante groups also must realize any misuse of this bill would only work against their own interest. See, ultimately, the court will intervene if it does excessive vigilantism against any individual.
But
And
sir,
moreover,
as
why
you
we
as the
should not
government of the
assume-
day, with you as the government of the day, are you ready for any kind of tweaks within the bill, because that's what the opposition is demanding, or this bill is going to pass in its present form?
No, I'm not the member of any both the houses, I may not be able to comment on that. However, if there are any excessive sections in the act, government is very sensitive and definitely it will ensure they are not misused or they are dropped.
All right, Mr. S. Prakash, thank you so much for speaking to us on the broadcast. I want to cut across back to my colleague Harish, who's getting us all the information about this entire story. Harish, as far as the opposition parties are concerned, Congress and the JDS, is there a vociferous opposition to this entire bill, or somewhere there is a nuanced position that the Congress party wants to take?
Well, I think in the upper house, the Congress is taking a very tough stance.
Yeah.
They are saying every conversion can't be looked at from the lens of conversion for gain. That's been one of the arguments made. In fact, they take it back to the time of Basavanna, saying that a lot of people who joined the faith that Basavanna started were in fact from different religions. And
Yes.
the BJP, which banks heavily on Basavanna's teaching, and the Lingayats, the followers of Basavanna, can't bring in a bill that stops others from going to a different religion. And in fact, they point out that when Hindus are nearly 80% in the country, why is it that the government wants to bring in this bill and stop people who perhaps do not identify themselves as Hindus? On paper they might be, but might want to join a different religion. Why stop them by bringing in such stringent laws? That's been the argument by the Congress. The JDS had to make its point and close the House, but principally it's opposed this bill.
All right, Harish, thank you so much for getting us all the details on that very important story. Let's now